The amount of progress that Derek Lunsford's making this year, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And I told you guys right after the Olympia last year, Derek has to be the favorite going into 2023. You guys probably think I'm crazy, but I'm going to explain why right now. Don't forget, it's Christmas in July for Old School Labs, so go to oldschoollabs.com and take advantage of the sales that we're having every single day until July is over. And right now, we're giving away a ton of free stuff if you spend X amount of money. oldschoollabs.com, and don't forget to support using code NICKBS. All right, so let's talk about second place finisher at the Olympia, Derek Lunsford. Now, I gave Derek a lot of shit for not doing the Arnold, and I still am going to give him a lot of shit until his career is over, because I feel like that was an easy W, an easy payday for him, but he decided to skip it and work on his physique because he wants to be Mr. Olympia this year. Now, forget all that. Let's talk about where he's at right now, because obviously he's had extra time to work on his physique and it looks like it's paying off. Look at his legs, look at his back, look at his chest, his shoulders. Now, I do want to say this. At the Olympia last year, this was his first time in the open class at the Olympia. His first time even competing as an open bodybuilder, and he took second. Second. That doesn't happen in bodybuilding, guys. You don't go from 212. Now, granted, he was the Mr. Olympia of the 212, up to open and just take second. You have to be a special kind of specimen to do that. And that's what Derek is. But the amount of muscle he's putting on now, because now the gas pedal's to the floor, is really remarkable. And especially the legs, and especially the back. Now, this is the only thing I'm a little worried about. The chest and shoulders was always the hardest part for Derek to keep full and hard, and like that granite, hard, muscular look that he has everywhere else. He didn't really have it in the chest and shoulders. And even though he's in the middle of his off season, well, technically, he's probably starting his prep now, he still doesn't show that much muscle up there versus the rest of his body. And don't jump to conclusion. I'm not saying that Derek isn't making huge progress with his physique. But if you look at Derek in the back, the legs, I would say even the arms aren't as good as the rest of his body. You can tell that the muscle maturity still isn't just where it needs to be for the chest and the shoulders. And I'm not saying he's not going to be improved. I'm not saying that he can't win because of this. I'm just saying, obviously, he has a very good mind-muscle connection with the legs and the back. Obviously, he's struggling with the chest and shoulders. Now, have they improved? Absolutely. Derek is improving no matter what he does. But I feel like the speed at which they're improving the chest and shoulders isn't the same as it is for the back and the legs. Because the back and the legs, it seems like they just grow every time we see him with a new check-in video or photo. Every time I look at Derek's photos, I'm like, God damn, did his legs get better? Did his back get better? How is this possible? The chest and the shoulders always look pretty remarkable in the off-season. While he still has a little bit of body fat on him, while he's still eating a good amount of food, his pumps are still really good. If you look at last year's Olympia photos, the chest and shoulders were definitely the worst part on his physique. And his shoulders are super wide. I'm not complaining about the width of them. I'm talking about the muscle maturity, the separation of the muscle, the conditioning of the muscle, and how full and hard they are on show day. If you look at his front lat at the Olympia, or the side chest, he's rather shallow there. And you could see that Hadi has remarkable muscle maturity in those areas. And I think this is a main reason why that Hadi probably beat Derek, because Hadi's upper body is very fucking good. It's amazing. And this is where Derek really lacks the muscle maturity still, because remember, he was sucking down to the 212 every single year. You lose a lot of that tissue that you created in the offseason when you're pushing your body down that hard to make 212. And remember, Derek always had to make a weight class until last year. So now that he has literally all the room that he needs, I think over the next couple of years, we're going to see that chest and shoulders really fill up. The muscle maturity will really start to kick in. Will we see an improvement this year? Yeah, we're going to see a better version of Derek. Absolutely 100%. It just depends on how much better is he going to be. Because if he's not drastically better in the chest and the shoulders, I don't care how good his back and legs get. I don't care how amazing he looks everywhere else. Hadi is very complete everywhere. And that is why Hadi still has the edge on Derek, regardless if Derek gets better from the other shots. Derek already had the best rear double, the best rear lat spread, the best everything everywhere else except the chest and shoulders. And I feel like if you're a judge and you're sitting up there looking at Derek and Hadi and comparing them, you have to see the weaknesses in Derek in the chest and shoulders. It's very obvious. It's very clear to me that there's a weakness there, especially when you're standing next to Hadi, who doesn't really have any weaknesses at all. Now, last year, don't get me wrong, Hadi's back was not as conditioned as it typically is, but that's because he put on so much goddamn muscle in one off season that it really didn't get as lean as he usually does. But I think he'll probably fix that with Coach Hani Rambod this year, and he'll probably be deadly from all angles like he usually is. So that means Derek has to be that much sharper, that much better in order to overcome Hadi at this year's Olympia. Now, can he do it? Well, my money's on Derek. I still think Derek can overcome Hadi this year and become Mr. Olympia. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.